You're obviously doing well. 7-3 over the Red Sox. That's not bad. Gibby, I wanted to ask you about the lineup. Joe and I were talking about that bottom of the order. It looked a lot like the type of production, the type of performance you were getting from the bottom of the order when you guys were winning all those games.
No, you're right. Jeff, when we were on our hot streak, of course we had the guys up top in the middle. They were driving in all the runs, but I mean it was big. The guys down at the bottom were setting the table, doing the little things, stealing some bags, advancing runners, primarily talking about guys like Ghost and them. And it made a huge difference for us, and Reyes at the time was heating up. Of course, Melky was, steady Eddie. So, yeah, that's a big part of it. We were talking the other day. I don't know who I was talking to, but when you're a little bit beat up, or you need to lean on your veterans. I mean, they're the guys that got to carry you, but they can't do it every night, every at bat. That's baseball doesn't work that way. But it's crucial that the guys at the bottom contribute something, and primarily getting on base and giving those guys up top a shot to at least drive you in. So, and our guys lately have been starting to do that.
Gib, how much of a jolt was it last night? Just the defense even that you put out there with Munenori at third, Goins at second, Ghost in center. It's almost like it just energized your defense.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I mean, those guys are they can all flash the leather, and that's very important. Especially now where we've had trouble scoring a lot of runs. I mean, through our good stretch. I mean we were scoring a few a night, but that's been kind of a little bit lean lately. So the key is you got to play good defense. You have to take away some hits, minimize some damage, and those guys are all capable of doing that. I mean, if you look at who they are as players, we're hoping to get some offense at them, but they're known as defenders, and the offense is a plus. And hopefully down the road, that changes and they become known as offensive players as well. But their primary reason to be out there is to catch the ball and take away hits.
John Gibbons joins us on Baseball Central, brought to you by Home Hardware. What tells you, John, when Jay Happ is on, when he's going to have one of those games where, as we said, he's that 94, 95 mile an hour throwing lefty? Is there something early, an early indication? Do you hear something from guys in the bullpen? Or?
Well, I talk to Pete Walker, our pitching coach, every time he comes in, before the game starts and ask how so-and-so looked. And, very rarely do you get, does that work? If they say if the guy's on down there in the pen, usually they, I don't know what it is, they take the mound, they're a little bit off, and some guys will go down there and to be terrible in the bullpen, and all of a sudden they take the mound when it counts, and they start dealing. So, but with Happ, I guess what I've seen over the last couple of years, when he's sticking that fastball, or he's not scattering it, early on, you're feeling pretty good. What I thought he did really well last night, I mean, he was using his breaking ball more, but it was there. He was able to throw it over the plate or at least around the plate. Where he gets into trouble, he spikes a lot of them, and so hitters will start to eliminate that. But but he's got that. His velocity is not what it used to be. When you look at a radar gun, but it's still a sneaky fastball. I mean, it jumps on guys, and that's a big weapon for him. But he also threw some good changeups last night. When you can do that, and when you're getting your breaking ball over the plate, it just gives him one more thing to think about, and that fastball even gets better.
What's the ideal situation, Gabe, for you to use Aaron Sanchez in his debut? What are you looking for?
Well, even last night there was a couple of instances where we probably could have, got him. We were thinking about maybe in the ninth inning, but Casey Jansen really needed a pitch. We got to get him going again. He was sick and things like that. And I don't think the first time you want to bring Sanchez in, with guys on base. And you want to ease him into. But tonight, I mean, McGowan's probably going to be down or very limited tonight. Loopy's been throwing a lot. So, I mean, he may come in tonight in a crucial situation. But, we have confidence in him to do that. But, ideally that first one you want to come in with, bring him in, and start an inning and give him a little breathing room. But, he's good enough. We think he's going to be good enough where that shouldn't matter. So there's a good chance you'll see him tonight one way or the other.
You'd run him out in the ninth inning?
Well, no, not there, but
right.
We were talking about last night. We had that 6-run lead at the time,
right?
But early in the game too, we had a few guys on, and we had Ismael Rogers, get up in case we got a big hit and really blew the thing open. But we didn't want to get Sanchez up, thinking, well, if he doesn't go in, he gets hot, and then you got to sit him down. So we still got. I don't want to say baby is not the word, but we got to be smart with this guy, especially when he's looking at his first debut.
Is Casey just a matter what we saw last night and the night before? Is that just a matter of the illness, the lingering effects?
Yeah, Jeff, it's got to be. I mean, he had the All-Star break, and then he wasn't able to pitch the first 2 nights back, and then he had an inning of work, and then, of course, another day off, and then last night. So, yeah, he's got to work his way back into it like any of them. So that's why his last 2 games he's come in the ninth, non-save situations, because I mean, he's got to fine-tune it. I thought his velocity was a little bit better last night, but he's got to live on the edges of that plate, and he wasn't able to do that last night.
John, how do you anticipate using Dan Johnson and Juan Francisco now? Similar left-handed type hitters with pop?
Well, I mean, we'll look at who we're facing that night and see if they have any history against those guys. What I think we'll do tonight, Ghost has been playing well. He's hit Buckholz a little bit, so we're probably going to put Ghost back in right, and then put Batista at first, and both those guys will sit tonight, and then we'll kind of look at it game by game. To be honest with you, hopefully one of them, something jumps out at you that they've had some success against somebody, and when they are playing, we'll go with the hot hand there a little bit. So, I like to look right now. Goins at second base, Kawasaki and Tollison there over there at third, and gives us a little punch off the bench. Francisco, I mean, he's showing a little bit of signs. I mean, he's thrown out a couple of hits here and there the last few games. But we definitely need him to get hot, and Johnson's going to give you a good at bat. He's got a couple of hits along the way, and he's taking some walks. But we're just going to try to put the team out on the field each night that we think can win.
John, what's the mood like in the clubhouse right now as you get closer to, I should say, the trade deadline? Obviously, there's a lot of talk about what this team should do or can do or even can't do. People are going to wonder how the clubhouse is reacting to it. You've been through the situation a number of times. Does this group, could you tell as a manager if these guys were worried or somewhat apprehensive about the trade deadline approaching, or if it was becoming a topic of conversation?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I could tell, I see these guys every day, and, every year at this time, you have players looking at, well, are we going to bring anything in, to beef some things up around here, or am I a guy that's going to be traded and things like that? But, that really happens on every team. You hear bitching and moaning, and then you hear guys, hoping it's not them or this and that. But, it really hasn't been too bad. I've heard a little bit of grumblings, but, that's, really that's typical in baseball. I mean, it's a sport that everybody's bitching and moaning all the time, for whatever reason. You do it every day. Somebody's disgruntled, somebody's happy, excited. I mean, that's just the nature of a clubhouse. But everything seems pretty calm out there right now. To be honest with you, there's been a lot of turnover lately with guys coming and going. And I think the fact that we brought in a couple of new faces yesterday might have energized us a little bit. But as far as what's going to happen in the trade, it's typical of guys saying we need this, we don't need that, or am I the guy that's going to go? And you just got to hang on to that for another 10 days in case something happens or whatever it is. And once you get beyond that, everything settles back down.
John, before we let you go, there was a lot of talk yesterday, and even Alex confirmed that the Jays were at least examining or taking a look at whether or not Drew Hutchison may be tipping some pitches. There's been discussion whether you skip a start with him in Yankee Stadium. What's your feeling on Drew right now? And could it be, are you at all concerned that fatigue or some other mild physical ailment might be behind this?
Well, Jeff, I mean, there's no physical ailment that we're aware of, and fatigue really, I don't think he's thrown that much yet. I mean, in a couple of weeks from now, if he continues to struggle, you might look at that a little bit differently. But, you basically it really comes down to, I mean, he's had a tough time at home, for whatever reason. He had that good start, I think it was against Milwaukee. But other than that, I mean, it's been a tough go for him here in this ballpark. And who knows why, and he's been very good on the road. I mean, he was so-so his last start on the road. I'm not sure if that was Oakland or Anaheim, where it was, Tampa, whatever it was. But, there was talk about tipping pitches, and I know Pete Walker, I mean, he looks at that all the time. And there might be a couple things in there that, they're going to work on today. But, it's nothing that really it's glaring.
Right.
But I tell you what, if somebody starts tipping something, I mean, word travels fast around this league. But I mean, the other night his start, I mean, he really had no breaking ball that he could go throw over the plate. You know, he came out looking really good that first inning. You know, went through the top of their lineup. You know, with Pedroia and Ortiz and Holtz there, and you're feeling pretty good. It's kind of like we just talked about. You know, the guy. You know, you were talking about Happ. You know, when do you think Happ's got it? Well, you know, you watch that first inning, you're thinking, hey, this guy's on. And then, of course, I thought the same thing with Hutch the other night, and then, you know, then it got away. But some you really never know. But you know, I saw a good fastball, but you know, I mean, it wasn't located necessarily really well, and his breaking ball was non-existent. So, I mean, when that happens, big league hitters, I mean, they can narrow you down. I mean, they're going to get you.
Do you think we may see Lind and Edwin up here when you guys get back after that quick trip to New York, or is that too early?
No, you know what, Jeff? You know, from what I'm hearing the last couple of days, they're moving along a heck of a lot quicker than we thought. You know, and you can throw Reimold into that mold too. So. And Brett's moving along. You know, he's doing all baseball activities. You know, yesterday he took some swings off. You know, he had a kind of like a wiffle ball bat. You know, it had some weight to it, but it wasn't a full-size bat, and he was starting to take some swings. Felt pretty good. So, you know, they're really moving along faster than we anticipated. What that means, I'm not sure yet, but it's, you know, we're starting to feel optimistic.
John, it was good of you to do this as always. We'll see you tonight.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Thanks, Skip.